Chapter 1, Mishnah 2. Having dealt with the time for reciting the nighttime Shema, the Mishnah now turns to the morning Shema. The Torah states that the Shema must be recited when you rise, which refers to the period when most people rise in the morning. The Mishnah discusses when this period begins and when it ends. We now turn to the words of the Mishnah. From when do we recite the Shema in the morning? What is the earliest time in the morning to fulfill the mitzvah of reciting the Shema? We can fulfill the mitzvah from when there is enough daylight that it is possible to distinguish between blue wool and white wool, because this is the earliest time that people start to rise in the morning. The next Tana holds that the period begins somewhat later. Rebbe Eliezer says, we cannot fulfill the mitzvah until there is enough daylight to distinguish between blue wool and wool dyed the color of leek, i.e. green, because that is when most people rise. Rebbe Eliezer continues by defining the end of the period for reciting the morning Shema. And one finishes it by sunrise. The latest time for the morning Shema is sunrise because most people rise before that time. A Tana disagrees with the last ruling, but Rabbi Yoshua says we can fulfill the mitzvah until the end of the first 3 hours of the day, because it is the way of princes to rise at the end of the first 3 hours. Since some people arise at this late hour, it is included in the period of the morning Shema. Rabbi Yoshua teaches what one should do if he misses the deadline. One who recites the Shema from then and on, i.e. after the third hour, does not lose out on the blessings of the Shema. That is, although he could no longer fulfill the mitzvah of reciting the Shema, he could still say the blessings. And if he recites the Shema after the third hour, he is rewarded like a person who reads from the Torah. Reciting the Shema after the deadline hour fulfills the mitzvah of studying Torah, since the Shema consists of verses from the Torah.